Rama had just won the greatest war in history, and he was sitting alone on a beach, trembling, not from exhaustion, not from grief, from something no one around him could see. A secret so dark, so heavy, it made the greatest victory in history feel like ash in his hands. What kind of secret haunts a god? What could be so dark, so unforgivable that Maryada Purushottam himself, the greatest man who ever lived, couldn't escape it even at the peak of his glory? Here is what the world missed about Ravana. Most of us grew up with one version of him, the 10-headed demon king, the one who kidnapped Sita, the villain of the Ramayana, the one who deserved to fall. That version is true. But it's not the whole truth. Ravana was a grandson of Rishi Pulatsya, one of the Sapta Rishis, born from the mind of Brahma himself. That lineage didn't disappear because Ravana chose darkness. It ran in his blood, and he didn't waste it. He was a master of the Samaveda. He had performed tapasya so severe that Brahma himself appeared and granted his boons. He didn't steal his power. He earned it through decades of devotion. But his relationship with Shiva, this is a part that will change how you see this entire story. According to the Uttarakanda, Ravana once tried to lift Mount Kailasa. He crouched beneath it, all 20 arms braced against a rock, and pushed. The mountain groaned, and Shiva, seated at the summit, simply pressed his toe down. The mountain crashed down. Ravana's hands were crushed beneath it. His fingers shattered against the stone. He was pinned, trapped under the weight of the very god he worshipped. And what did Ravana do? He pulled out his own nerves from his broken, bleeding fingers. He pulled out the tendons like strings. He used the mountain above him as a body of a veena, and he began to sing the Shiva Tandava Stotram, not a gentle prayer, a roar of devotion. Every verse a praise of Shiva's power, every syllable vibrating through the rock, sung from under the mountain that was crushing him with strings made from his own body. Shiva opened his eyes, lifted the mountain, and blessed Ravana. That was a man Rama had just killed. Now here is where the secret lives. In the Vedic tradition, killing a man of Brahminical learning, regardless of what he had done, regardless of how justified the sword was, carries one of the gravest consequences known to dharma. Brahmahatya Dosha, a stain on the soul, an invisible wound that clings to the one who caused the death, not for intention, but for action. The dosha doesn't ask if it was justified. It sees blood and it stays. Ravana deserved to die. Rama knew that. Every sage, every god knew that. But the dosha didn't lift because the killing was righteous. The dosha didn't care that Sita had been kidnapped. The dosha didn't care that the war was just. The dosha saw blood on Rama's hands, and it stayed. Rama was Maryada Purushottama, the ideal among men. If even he could walk away from a Brahmahatya without answering for it, what would that say? That if your cause is right, you owe nothing? That consequences only apply to those who were wrong? And he sat on that shore, trembling, carrying that knowledge while the men around him celebrated. Sage Agastya found him there, not an ordinary rishi, but the great sage of the south, the one who had given Rama the Aditya Hridayam before the final battle. If anyone understood what Rama was carrying, it was him. And he came to the shore, not with consolation, but with a solution. You must worship Mahadeva, install a Shivalinga, and perform the rites in full. Only Shiva's grace can cleanse this dosha. There is a place on this southern shore where the land nearly touches Lanka. That is where it must be done. Rameshwaram, the place where even God would kneel. But this was no simple puja. Every great Vedic ritual is bound by time. The sages read the sky, found the muhurta, a single window of perfection when the worship would carry its fullest power. It would not remain open for long. Miss the muhurta and the dosha remains. The stain does not lift. And the muhurta was closing. Rama needed a linga worthy of the ritual, one brought from Kailasa itself. So he turned to the only being who could reach it and returned before the stars shifted. Hanuman, the one who had crossed an ocean in a single bound, the one who had lifted a mountain to save Lakshmana. If anyone could outrun time, it was him. Hanuman took flight. The ocean fell away beneath him like hammered silver. The coastline blurred. The plains rose into mountains. The air thinned. Clouds sank below him until there was only silence, vast, heavy, endless. And then Kailasa, the silver peak burning against the sky like a flame frozen in ice. But Kailasa is not a marketplace, this is the abode of Mahadeva. The Linga could not be taken, it had to be sought with devotion, with permission. Hanuman stilled himself. He meditated, he waited for Shiva's grace. And time was running out. Think about where he was in that moment. The being who had sent Lanka ablaze, the one who had never failed Rama. And now, for the first time, he could feel the clock outrunning him. The fastest being alive was not fast enough. Back on the beach, the sages watched the sky. The stars were aligning. The Muhurta was minutes away, and Hanuman had not returned. All eyes searched the horizon, waiting for the orange streak to split the clouds. And then Sita stepped forward. Remember who she was in that moment. Kidnapped, imprisoned in Lanka for months, made to walk through fire before an army to prove her purity to a world that doubted her. She had endured the war fought in her name, and she had never once broken. She did not announce her decision. She did not seek permission. She knelt. She pressed her hands into the wet sand, and she began to build. Grain by grain, handful by handful, on a shore where the wind never rested and the sea breathed against the land, she shaped the sand into a Shivalinga. No chisel, no stone, no sculptor, no divine weapon, just her hands and the earth beneath them. Sand does not hold its shape on a beach, not against wind, not against salt and spray. A linga formed there should have collapsed the moment she lifted her fingers. It did not. It stood firm, still, as though carved from stone. The puja began. Mantras rose. Offerings were placed. The stars entered perfect alignment overhead, and the Ramalingam, Sita's linga, received the worshipped. Shiva accepted, not from a golden altar, not from a towering temple, but from sand shaped by a woman's hands on a restless shore. That was enough. The most powerful linga in Rameshwaram was not carved. It was not carried from Kailasa. It was built by a woman who refused to let time close on the man she loved. And then Hanuman arrived. He streaked across the sky, the linga from Kailasa held in his hands. He had done it, crossed the length of Bharat, reached Shiva's mountain, received the blessing and returned. The puja was over. Hanuman landed on the beach. His feet touched the sand. The sacred fire was fading. The mantras had fallen silent. Rama's face was calm, the calm that comes only after something has been resolved. And at the center stood a linga made of sand, not his. The linga he had crossed the world to bring was no longer needed. His heart did not break from pride. It broke from love. He had wanted to carry Rama's burden this time. He had crossed oceans for him, burned a city for him, carried a mountain for him. And when Rama needed something most urgently, someone else had already given it. He looked at the sand linga and thought, mine is from Kailasa itself, from Shiva's own mountain. Should not the holiest place receive the holiest form? He wrapped his tail around the Ramalingam and pulled. It did not move. He pulled again. The being who had lifted Dronagiri, who could shake the earth if he chose. Not a single grain shifted, because this linga was not held together by sand. It was held together by Sita's devotion. And there is no force in the three worlds that can move what love has made immovable. Rama walked to Hanuman. He did not scold him. He did not rebuke him. He looked at this giant among devotees, this warrior who had crossed an ocean out of nothing but love, and said, the value of worship does not come from the material, it comes from the intent. And your love, Hanuman, your love brought a mountain to me that will never go unrecognized. Then Rama did something temples priests and pilgrims have honored for thousands of years. He installed Hanuman's Linga beside the Ramalingam. He named it the Vishwalingam, and he decreed that the Vishwalingam would be worshipped first before the Ramalingam every single day. The Linga that saved everything worshipped second. The Linga that arrived too late worshipped first. Rama was not ranking stones, he was honoring devotion. Hanuman had taken the longest road to bring a gift to someone he loved, and Rama refused to let the world forget it. To this day in the temple at Rameshwaram, the Vishwalingam is worshipped before the Ramalingam every morning without fail, exactly as Rama decreed. That decree is still being honored right now. The temple that stands on the story is unlike anything else in India. It has the longest corridor of any Hindu temple in the world, over 1200 meters of carved pillars. When you walk through it, the scale silences you, conversation fades, thought slows. The pillars stretch on both sides until you can no longer see where they end. Inside are 22 sacred wells, theerthams, each said to have been created by Rama's arrows striking the earth. Before you see the main deity, you bathe in all 22, one by one. Water poured over your head, each believed to cleanse a different sin. 22 acts of purification before you stand before him. The first and most sacred theertham is not inside the temple at all. It is a sea, the Agni Tam. At dawn, pilgrims walk waist deep into the Bay of Bengal and immerse themselves in the same waters that once lay between Rama and Lanka. The water he looked upon the night he could not sleep. You step into it and feel not just cold but something older. And hidden in the name of this place is something many walk past. Rameshwaram divides two ways. Rama Ishwaram, the god of Rama, Shiva worshipped by Rama, and Rameshwaram, the one whose lord is Rama, Shiva in whose name Rama stands supreme. Both are true at once. The worshipped and the worshipper folded into a single name, two forms of the divine bowing to each other across an ocean held together in one word. Come back to the shore. Rama stands there, the war behind him, the Vanara Sena celebrating somewhere in the distance, and he is alone on the sand, carrying something no crown could lift and no victory could dissolve, the knowledge that he had killed a Brahmin, a scholar, a devotee who once sang to Shiva from beneath a mountain using his own body as strings. And Dharma saw what it always sees, not the justification, the blood. That is a secret Rameshwaram was built to hold, because a sword that does the right thing still draws blood, and someone must answer for it. This is what sets Rama apart from every other victor in every story. Not that he won, not that he was right, but that he stopped, that he felt the weight of what his hands had done, even when the world declared those hands clean, even when the gods approved, even when everyone celebrated. No one had to tell him he owed a debt. He already knew. So he knelt, the man who had won everything, on a beach in the sand. Look at the world around you. The leader, certain he is right. The one in power who never hears no. The victory that crushed something or someone and never paused to ask what it cost. You already have a name in your mind. That is why the story still matters. Rama knelt after winning everything. In our tradition, there is a word for this, maryada, not limitation, but the willingness of the greatest among us to answer for what their greatness cost. Rameshwaram is where God came to practice maryada, and every pilgrim who walks into that ocean at dawn, waist deep, eyes closed, is echoing the same confession Rama made on that shore. I was not above it. I came here to be cleansed. Comment Jai Shri Ram if the story inspired you. Subscribe to Temple Girl for more such hidden temple stories like these, and we'll see you at the next temple.